How worried were you at any point within that game?
Yeah, it's certainly nice to have a win against a really good team. I thought it was a really good performance from us. I think we started well. We were able to sort of calm the situation down early with Beth Mooney playing a really good hand for us. And we were under the pump with the ball a little bit, but I thought we really dealt with it extremely well. And to get over the line against a really good New Zealand team, relief's a good word. Our first challenge for this tournament was to get through the group stage, and to know that we've done that now, certainly a nice feeling. But looking forward to what the next few days hold as well.
Obviously, the big thing everyone wants to know is how's Ellyse Perry? What can you tell us about her?
I can't tell you much. We're not sure at the moment. It's a hamstring, but what the extent of it is, we're not sure. So, really unfortunate for her to have to go off. She's a really tough player, and we'll just have to see what pans out over the next few days.
And just the last one for me, just on you didn't decide not to bowl Annabelle. Was there reasons for that?
Not really. It just didn't sort of pan out that way. We sort of felt like spin was a good option. Obviously, with Georgia bowling so well as well, she bowled her full 4 overs. It was just sort of situational. It wasn't a plan going in. She was always there if we needed, but just went to other bowlers today.
Meg, I think it's been a little while since you've come in at 3 at the fall of Ellyse's wicket. Just some thinking behind that, and I suppose the tempo that was able to build steadily over the innings.
Yeah, that was a decision that we made for this game, purely based on matchups and how I guess New Zealand had bowled throughout their innings in other games, and we felt that I was a better matchup against their sort of bowlers in the first 6. So it's worked pretty well today, I think. But Ash Gardner can do just as good a job, and depending on the situation. So we'll assess depending on our next opponent for the next game, and that might happen again. It might be different. We'll just have to see.
And obviously Georgia bowled very well today, but the increasing role of spin over the tournament, it seems. I mean, obviously you lost Taylor, and there's obviously a cloud over Ellyse, but the pitches as well. It seems to have been spin has played a much bigger role perhaps in this tournament than some people maybe expected.
Perhaps, I think as the tournament goes on, obviously the wickets are played on a lot more and they become a little bit slower and lower. And I guess pace off the ball makes it more difficult for the batters to create it. So that seemed to work for us today. And I guess it just depends on where you're playing the SCG. I guess we're not really sure what we're going to get. There's been no games on there so far. So, we'll just have to look at that. But I think spin's played a massive role across T20 cricket for a long time now. And I guess when you are under the pump and as batters, you've got to sort of force the issue a little bit. It is more difficult to do it against the slower pace.
Georgia, obviously you've been a bit in and out of the side of late. Did you sort of cast your mind back to, say, the West Indies tour in September when you came on to bowl today in terms of, the things you can do well and have done well for Australia?
I think it's probably something I'd probably look back on and see how I did things during that tournament and what worked for me. And I think, I guess, implementing those little things in today kind of helped out. But I guess knowing that I guess I can play that sort of role in the team, because I guess I did that in the last World Cup. Gives me a bit of confidence, and it definitely sort of helped out today.
And what was the conversation like around the LBW? Pretty straight, but bit of quite, I suppose, being out.
I was sort of confident that it was out, but I think Midge had a pretty big say. Usually have most.
Yeah, there was a bit of talk about maybe being too high. As soon as we sort of felt she hadn't hit it. It was worth the gamble, I guess, and it paid off, which was nice.
Georgia, it looked like you and Mitch sort of pat each other on the back after the divine dismissal. What was the plan there?
That's probably something that's been in the works for a little bit. I've sort of changed around my strategy going into, I guess, T20 cricket. Just planning around, I guess, if I see the batter coming at me, I guess chucking one wide, and it worked out for me today, which was quite good. But it's been tough going, and it's finally good to get one.
Tell us a bit about your love for photography, videography, video editing. You edit your own stuff. What are the most adventurous things that you've done with Photoshop and Premiere Pro?
I have no idea how to use Photoshop. I don't use Premiere Pro, but I guess that being in the West Indies is a pretty cool spot to get some footage and stuff like that. So obviously using the drone there, and I guess I'm no professional at it, but it's obviously something that I like to do in my downtime.
Meg, you mentioned relief. Can you sort of expand on that a little bit further, given this tournament's one where you have been under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of expectation, and not just for yourself but for the team as well, given it was a hard passage to get there, particularly today?
Yeah, I think, especially over the last week or so, we've probably adjusted to that extra scrutiny and things that are happening, and that's not to say we weren't prepared. I think, just once you're actually in the middle of it, you don't really know what it's going to be like until you're actually there, and it probably took us a little bit to adjust. But we were able to scrape through with that win against Sri Lanka, and then really from then on I've just sensed a different group and a really calm group, and I thought today's performance was our best of the tournament so far. We still can get better, but that was how we want to play our cricket, and I thought we were able to really build the base there and then deliver in the back end. So I've said this before, but our first goal was to get out of the group stage, and we didn't think that was going to be easy. I guess we've always lost a group stage game. It just happened to be the first one this time around, and that probably put us under the pump more so than we've been in other tournaments. So we've had to do it slightly differently, but I think it's put us in a really good position heading into the semi-finals to be able to come through, those sort of down moments, I guess, early in the tournament to where we are now. I don't think we could be better placed.
Well, how do you sort of manage that then with obviously the potential loss of Ellyse as well? You get through that tough time and then you get to where you want to be and you won't have Ellyse. I mean, how do you sort of address that, sort of more from a sort of talking to the team perspective as opposed to who comes in? When you saw when she walked off, sort of the collective shoulders sort of slump a little bit, so you have to sort of really manage that. Yeah,
she's obviously been a massive part of our squad and team for a long time, and you can't replace her, but we've got 15 players here who can do a job, and you need a squad to win a World Cup. You can't rely on one or two players and the same 11 each game, and we're going to have to use our depth that we've got. We've said we've got a lot of depth, and I believe that, and we're just going to have to use it, and that's just the reality of it. Unfortunately, in elite sport, you get injuries and things like that, and unfortunately, Ellyse has got an injury. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that, but I've got full confidence that any player who comes in can play a role, and we're just going to have to get through it and play maybe slightly differently, but that's fine. You've got to adapt.
How was Ellyse's demeanour just in the rooms just straight afterwards?
Oh, she was happy that we got the win, obviously, but yeah, probably a little bit down, and that's probably understandable given the situation. But we actually don't know a lot about it at the moment, so we'll just have to see.
There's no reserve day for the semis. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, rain is forecast for Sydney. Have you given any thought to that?
Not really, no. We were just worrying about today. We knew that going in. I guess there wasn't any reserve days, so hopefully the forecast changes. I've seen that happen before, and hopefully we get two really good semi-finals in.
Meg, probably more than ever before, we're hearing Australia talk as much about matchups. You have more left-handers than in any other team. You really seem determined to use them, even to the point of in Perth we saw promoting Carey over Perry. How much has the role of data determined all this? You said you've been working on venue matchups, player matchups. Has the role of that data analysis come in even more in the last couple of years since the last T20 World Cup? I believe Sunny in your team is the one who provides that. So what's his role been like in the back room?
Yeah, there's no doubt there's been a lot more time going into data and watching games, and there's so much footage now these days that you can't really hide, and we put a lot of time into that, and we try and have a look at what the venue does and what the matchups are. But when we actually do get to the games, we go in with a plan, but we also go with gut feel as well, and that's essentially what happened in Perth with Carey coming in instead of Perry. It was just sort of a situational sort of thing. So I think it's important that you look at the data and you're prepared, but T20 cricket changes so quickly that you need to be able to adjust, and a lot of it is on gut instinct, and that's sort of what we want to keep doing as well, because if you just go in with one plan and you want to stick to it, I think you come unstuck pretty quickly.
Have you as a captain ever gone against what the data says with your gut, and how is that played out, or vice versa? Has the data supported your gut?
A little bit of both. Sometimes I do things and I don't get it right, and sometimes I do something differently and it works. It's hard to tell. I think captaining in T20 cricket is a lot on instinct and what you think is going to be the best matchup, but you've got your ideas going in, so it's finding the balance between that, and sometimes you get it right and sometimes you don't.